Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us at the 2025-2026 Do the Right Thing Challenge webinar to share with you on the resources. My name is Kung Win. I am Prevention Specialist with Utah State Board of Education here, and my job is on Accountability Practice Specialist and also Do the Right Thing Coordinator. Um, we are so happy to announce to you that we have a new chair of the Do the Right Thing Committee. That will be Gina Butters, Superintendent of Weber School District. She joined us just recently and last year was a VIP judge, so we couldn't be more thrilled to announce that to you and all of the folks who will be viewing us online. Um, and along with us today, our committee members. So I'm just going to let the Do the Right Thing community member introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Kim Irvine. I am the teacher support at the national level, and I'm also your district support here in Weber. I can help anybody in the state, and I'm excited to show you all my resources. This writing challenge will change your life, and it's going to change the life of your students, and I can't wait to talk to you about it.
Thank you, Kim. She's a long-time participant and Do the Right Thing community member and supporting us. So we'll just move forward. So here is our today's agenda. We will be just talking overview the Do the Right Thing challenge. Kim will come in and talk about teacher support and resources for Do the Right Thing. These resources share both locally and at the national level, and how to participate in evaluation criteria. And we'll have some time for you to ask questions if you have any. So with that, just a reminder, the purpose of this Do the Right Thing challenge involves youth voices from a country of Kuwait and the U.S. to establish a way to keep peace throughout the world. The first step to end youth violence is to talk about it. Do the Right Thing challenge make this initial step possible by creating a platform for youth, giving them a voice about how youth violence affects their lives and how it can be prevented. The challenge and empower young people in Utah and around the country to make a personal, written commitment to combat youth violence in their communities. The challenge work because it targets youth violence in the community where violence take place, then recognize that the same community hold the greatest power to create lasting solution. This challenge is sponsored by the Kuwait American Foundation and is managed at the national level by the National Campaign to Stop Violence. Locally, is sponsored by the Do the Right Thing Challenge addresses student behavior, is creating classroom communities, and it help addresses student behavior. Um, at the local level here is sponsored by the Utah State Board of Education since 2020, and is managed by the prevention team, which I am a member of that, and I coordinate for things to happen. Just an FYI, in the very general information, in last year, 2025 Do the Right Thing Challenge, we reached over 1,300 students who participated in classroom discussion. 930 students decided and prepare writings, and then about 340, 338 to be exact, students decided to submit for evaluation. The committee selected 28 students, and we honor them on April 28, 2025. The challenge has these three core questions. How has youth violence affected their life? What are the causes of youth violence, and what can my community, that is the student asking, what can my community do and I do to reduce youth violence? So this is the three standard questions that we posed on all of those participating. The who and what, the challenge allow for 7th and 8th grade students to participate. It encourages students to make a commitment to take positive step to change the problem, to break the cycle of violence in their home, their school, and their neighborhood. And through this process, we will have all the students who selected as a state finalist. We have a student gift. and then a signed certificate from the state superintendent and the governors of our state. We will have scholarship for state finalists at $300, and this is in general going to two. We will select two state finalists per participating school, so they will receive a $300. There will be two selects as a state finalist, and then they as a runner-up, and there will be a $400 scholarship. And then for one national ambassador for peace, will receive $500 scholarship put into my 529 account. And then as a national ambassador, this student will represent our state and go to a 5-day trip to Washington, D.C. in midsummer. One parent and their teacher will also tag along and go to this event in DC. Plus, obligations to the state challenge, this including attending an annual Promising Youth Conference. This student and the family will stay overnight at Snowbird for a second week of month in May, and will be recognized on a Friday at the conference that attended by over 650 folks. So we'll be recognizing this national winner or the ambassador. And then also invited me as a VIP judge for the next year challenge. So that's some of the obligation as a national ambassador. Here is just a general timeline for participating teachers. All members can go to the school.utah.gov prevention and do the writing challenge. We have all the information there. If you click on this link, it will make it right to this page, and then overview of what I'm sharing and the information here. You can see here how the challenge work. You will see the timeline, the process, the procedure, all of that, all the way to the national recognition that I just shared with you. And then on how the instruction and lesson plan. So there's a governor letter here on supporting the challenge. We had to do the writing instructions for classroom teachers, so it will have all the detail on what needs to be done. This is a link for you to register, and then a checklist for teachers to go through that. I will also have that information as well. And then there we have some of the resources. You can see the 2025, the most recent writing right on here. So that we have the national and then the local information as well. So you can see on all of that information. So click. We open in January 9th is the deadline to submit all the writing. So please work with your student, prepare, have in-classroom discussion, writing that, and then prepare to submit. The first process after we collecting all the writing, we go to making sure the parent permission is there, that the students also read and submit their consent form. We cannot process without those two forms, the parents' permission and the student consent form. And then from January 19 to February 20 is when we arrange with college students to do the first round of reading. Each of those essay need to be read by 3 students, so we have a really good average score, so that is not leaning one way or another. So there'll be at least 3 college student review of those essay, and then the highest per boy and a girl at that school, collective as a school, will be selected as a state finalist and will be announced and early at the end of February or early March, and invite to the May event here on May 1st. For the top 12 boys and 12 girls across the state will be selected and put into a pool as for a VIP group of VIP judges to review. Again, we'll have 3 VIP judges to read those score, and then we select the top winner and announce that as ambassador. And then for the next highest score, we'll select as a boy and a girl as a runner up, and then the award I just mentioned earlier. The recognition event will be on May 1st. It's a Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the University of Utah Alumni House. That's the general overview of the information. How does this work? The resources with that, I'm gonna transition to Ms. Kim Irvine, who has a wealth of information about leading the in-classroom discussion. So with that, Kim.
Yay! Will you turn to the next slide? Okay, super. If you guys want to scan this QR code or this link right here, Kun, will you click that link and open up the teacher resources? It's not working for me. Great. Thank you so much. So that QR code will take you to this presentation, and it's really quick. If you'll take us to the next slide, Kuhn, that would be great. All right. I've got to talk to you about why doing Do the Right Thing. This it used to, we don't call it a contest anymore. We call it a writing program now because the kids that are sent to DC, and if you have a student that is selected to be a National Ambassador of Peace, you go to DC with them, which is really, really cool and kind of an exciting part of this contest and writing experience because I haven't seen very many that send the teacher. But what's really cool about that is you kind of get to see your student, the fruition of all of the work that they've done. But the nuts and bolts, the real reason why you should bring it into your classroom is really not about going to the DC or the trip or anything. It's about how it changes your classroom. So I wanted to talk to you about that for just a second. You might puzzle about a writing contest that is not judged on conventions. Spelling doesn't count. Grammar doesn't count. And at first blush, you might think, maybe this isn't that rigorous, but let me explain the magic and the dynamic that happens in your classroom. When I say we're going to enter your writing to be judged, a lot of my students that aren't that skilled, their stomach just drops. When I start the year and I say, what is your message? What is your experience with youth violence? What do you want to tell people based on that experience? And I can get that student to decide what their message is. I've got them. I've got them, and I've got them for the whole year because we just build on that writing. As I teach them a new skill, we say, okay, figurative language. Let's see what we can put on your message with figurative language. And we build on that writing all year. And an amazing transformation happens in your classroom. Suddenly, I'm not singing and dancing and tap dancing and trying to get them to use good grammar, good word choice, or figurative language. They're coming to me saying, I want to zhuzh up this message. What can I use? And it becomes a dynamic that shifts, and it is powerful. The other thing that happens is behavior, student behaviors in the classes that I'm working on with students on this writing challenge. Oh my goodness, they almost disappear. We have to have really interesting, tender, sensitive conversations, and we've got some support for you on that too. And to be able to do that, you truly build a writing community. The last thing I've got to tell you is when I first started this writing challenge in my classroom, my goodness, over 20 years ago, I thought I understood my students. And I learned I really didn't know what was going on in their lives. And understanding what these kids are dealing with makes me a better teacher. I can pivot from things that I know will trigger them. I can lean into things that I know will inspire them because I understand what they're dealing with. So can you change this to the next slide, Coom? Thank you so much. All right, I talked about this already. I guess I'm ahead of myself. Go to the next one. Okay, so these slides have links to you. So the middle link, when you want to click it later, and I won't make you do it right now, that's the NCTE, National Council of Teachers of Position statement on discussing complex topics. And there's some really great support for that. I'd like to go to the first link, Kum, if you click on that complete curriculum support for Do the Right Thing. This is where the money is, guys. So a while back, I just had students keep getting selected to be National Ambassadors of Peace, which I love. I think that's like one of the most beautiful titles. I've been to DC with them several times. And again, that's really cool to go to DC. But even if, I mean, it's really not about just that trip. That's a great lofty goal. But the transformation that happens with you and your students in the classroom, that's where it really is meaningful. So if you'll scroll down on this document, you'll find I have broken this into introducing the contest to the students. And I need to change that word because we started to change the nomenclature from contest to writing challenge. We didn't want it to feel like there were winners and losers because honestly, when you have these discussions with your students in your classroom, it changes everything. It really changes the complexion. And reading and writing, these are emotional things. These aren't, we English teachers, we get to deal with this stuff because telling stories is where we are, and this gives your students an opportunity to tell their story. So the first few resources are introducing the contest to the students. I use all kinds of different things. I've used that Dante quote. I've used Wings, a reading journal response. If you'll scroll down, Kim, I wanted to touch on a couple other things here. Yeah, and then Shane Koizan, boy, if you haven't discovered Shane Koizan, he's got this wonderful poem that you can show to your students and have them talk about. The next part is creating writing magic. And this is where I help students write an original piece of poetry. I've told my kids the formula is you've got to answer all of the questions. I've got my good friend Jennifer over here. She understands about claims and support, and that's what I'm talking about, right along line with the seventh and eighth grade ELA core. Then you've got to talk about your own personal experiences. And my students choose different ways to do that. This middle part where it says creating writing magic, poetry brainstorming box, I've got to get credit to this poet. I went to a USBE workshop and they brought in this poet that literally showed us how to create boxes, put words in it so that students can move that along and create poetry. And the poetry that these eighth graders and seventh graders write will blow your mind. Interestingly enough, all of it's dark. I've never seen a happy seventh or eighth grade poem. I have no idea why, but they're all really, really dark. So get ready for that too. All of these have links. You can do them on Canvas or you can do them just on a Google Doc. So please feel free to go through and see what you'd like to use. I don't even assume anyone would use all of these. These are for you to jump in, rip them apart, use what you feel like would be appropriate for your students and your personality style. I've just done this for so long that these are the things that I've seen will rally those little seventh and eighth grade minds into this kind of a writing challenge. And this is really big. So this last part is getting into the research, the planning, and the writing. So the first thing that you're doing is helping them explore those questions and figuring out what their message is. Once you figured that out, then you can start adding the curriculum onto that. Seventh and eighth grade are some of the most rigorous years as far as curriculum. That's where they've got to make an argument. They've got to have, in eighth grade, they've got to refute the argument. In both grades, they've got to have evidence that backs up that argument. And so this is a powerful way for them to not only look at their message, but align their message with research. And because they're so vested in getting this message across, oh my goodness, that is such a much easier sell than just saying, hey guys, we're going to write a research paper. So I really do use this all year long and build my curriculum on it. And I absolutely love it because of the complexion change it happens in my class, like I discussed before. So also there's a video in there where I discuss some of these things. There's a link. And then down below, there's a way I've put together resources on how you use previous student writings to motivate your students. Because when they can look at a student of their age that has taken this risk, and written something that is powerful and meaningful and has been chosen as a representative for Do the Right Thing and National Ambassador of Peace, it becomes an exemplar. And when you bring in an exemplar that's at a higher level, oh, they all rise to that level. I'm sure you guys have all seen that. So these are our curriculum resources. Kum, if you could go back to that presentation, I wanted to give the teachers some support for sensitive discussions. Will you click on that final thing on the right? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so this is new. We didn't have this last year. And I talked about this is how I handle this in my classroom. Now, all of you are different. And again, take what works with you and feel free to just kind of break this apart and use what you want. These are really good basic ideas because this can go south really quickly. You don't want someone to come in and start, bloviating personal experiences that take us in a different direction. So these are really good guidelines. We're not there to embarrass anybody, or expose anybody or force anyone to talk about something that they don't want to talk about. And what I love about the fact that this is sponsored by the USBE, those questions, what is youth violence? How has youth violence affected me? What am I and my community going to do about youth violence? Those are the guardrails for your conversations. What students write in their papers, oh goodness, can be incredibly personal, can be incredibly specific. And I really try not to shut students down there. and make sure that they understand this is going to be published. So you want to make sure that you're talking to your parents about this. We don't want to, really embarrass anybody, but be prepared to learn things about your students that will break your heart. Um, you watch them grow so much in this year as they work through what these questions are, what the answers are, that it's hard. I mean, it's really hard, but it's worth it. It is really worth it. If you'll scroll down to the bottom, Coombe. So these are all really basic things, that I share with my students. Some of these little anecdote things that I've said, like think before you share. Once you say it, you can't take it back. Just things like that. And these kind of guidelines are important with conversations anyway. It's getting harder. This year, at the beginning of the year, I had to have my students practice turning and talking, like turning your shoulders, turning your hips, turning your face, look into the eyes of the person you're speaking to, because we can't have these meaningful conversations if they don't know how to do that. And that's getting harder. So I just want to be explicit. I spend about the first 2 weeks of my year showing them how to have a conversation with each other. The last part, and I'm kind of excited about this, I just did a webinar for the whole state of Hawaii for their teachers that are participating in the challenge. And Kum, if you'll click on that link at the very bottom of that page, I can't believe the resources that the Hawaii team put together, and it's their juvenile justice team. So I really appreciated the keywords. I appreciated the scaffolding. I took this with full permission from the Hawaii Attorney General's office. But what I love are there are 4 pages here of incredible resources on how to talk about these kind of things, how to have controlled, guided tender conversations about sensitive issues. So if my basic stuff isn't quite enough, you need something a little bit more robust, please feel free to scroll through this. I've clicked on every single one of the things that I've included here. And oh my goodness, I'm so impressed. I could have spent an hour just delving into each one of these. So basically, what we're doing today is giving you so many resources. We're trying to talk you into doing this because I promise this will change your life as a teacher and it will definitely change the lives of your students. That's basically my stuff. I wanted to pause for a second because I just gave you a whole lot of stuff like through a fire hose. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, my email address is on here. If you're from Weber School District, you know me. You can reach out anytime. This was presented for the whole state. Even if you are not in Weber School District, I am the National Teacher Liaison, so please feel free to reach out to me. I could talk about this all day, absolutely all day. So it doesn't bother me ever, and I absolutely love supporting teachers in this program. That's my spiel.
Thank you, Kim, for your information. It's incredible to have a teacher on the committee and talk the language the teacher can associate with is just fascinating. So thank you for that. And then I'm just gonna continue just a little bit about the remaining information here. So for the evaluation process, and Kim mentioned earlier that we are not looking at evaluating a grammar or spelling. We do looking at the content as a fourth of the total 100-point scale as a rubric that we use, and it's developed by former teachers, and we've been using that. So we evaluate on the content, the original voice, originality of the voice, and the originality on the honesty of the writings, and then question responsiveness, are they answering the three question, but also we're looking for that real not real but the personal experience of the students, right? And so it's really important for that. Martha, for the evaluation, we were looking for what is the primary cost, but that's not the reason why they score high. It's just the personal experience there. And then provide comment just to ask for the readers. They were looking for comments, and then on the ongoing abuse, suicidal threat, suspected plagiarism, or something that need an immediate attention. So just to very to clear, it's absolutely important for teachers to please review students' writing first before you submit, because by the time our college student get to the writings and then evaluate and assessing for if there's a threat or need immediate attention, is be a little bit later in time. So it would be important if there are issues, especially as with violence, and then there might be abuse or things that need professional attention right away. Teacher, please review your students' writing before the submission deadline on January 9th. And there's time that service and connection need to be happen before then. So please pay attention to that. How to get started? Please scan this QR code. Um, we collect a very simple information about you as a teacher so we can communicate with you. Review specialized link. After you register, you will receive two specialized link. One is a consent form to send to the parent. And then another one is for the student. This is where you circulate within your student classroom. And then it has the about the program, about the challenge, and then collecting student information as necessary for contact purposes and for a way to submitting their writing. So please scan this QR code is how to get started. This is the information that we'll collect from the teacher, right? Basic information, phone, email address, so we can send it to you. After this, like I say, you receive the parent permission as from a Quadric link and the student participate consent form. So those two need to be done. Just because we don't know cannot um, the two Quadric link do not communicate with each other. So the parents they will sign and then they submit to us. What we will try to do is that every other week we will update the teachers list and say this the following from your classroom the parent has signed a consent form, so you kind of know the status as things progress. And at any time you can email us and we will inform you this is how many in your classroom has registered or the parents has signed a consent form. And just to the challenge, just a reminder that every other week I'll just share with you about the reminder. Regardless if the student decides to submit, teachers should always review students' writing for issue like ongoing abuse or suicide threats and follow district's policy protocol to take appropriate professional actions if warranted. So just a reminder to you. We also have a student checklist, teacher checklist here. Just teacher interest participating, click on the link to register. You will receive an email, just say the link for the parent consent form and for the student consent form and how to submit the writing. Teacher forward the parent to the parent consent form to the parent, teacher forward the student consent to students. Teacher will review student writing just for the reason that I just shared with you. And please also look now that we have AI, just kind of like you know your student best, how they're writing. So making sure it's not AI that's writing their writing, but it is the student personal experience that we are looking at. So please looking at that. Remind students to submit by January 9th, 2026. And teacher, please, your participation is critical and inform us. We'll ask a survey on how many participants in classroom discussion, how many conducted writing, and how many actually submitted. We need this number as a way of for the national office to collect those data so that they know the impact of the program. So please, it's really important that you complete a teacher survey. Here's the website. Go to school.utah.gov and then you can that doesn't work, but it will go to here to the do the right thing challenge. Like say the overview, we will post the recording on here. How the challenge worked. This is the timeline I just shared with you as well, and then the instruction and the lesson plan. So this is the Google Doc that we just share with you, and so it can be posted here from accessing Kim's presentation. So it will take you right on there. So everything is on the website. This is the governor's letter of support. This is the instruction page that we share with you on everything that you need to know. All the links that I just shared with you is all on this website. And so state level, here's writing the standard core requirement. I'm not sure if you use that right. And then here is the rubrics. You can see it right on here. And then so all that information on here. Anything else? So on the resources, like Kim just say, and then here is our do the writing challenge writing. So this is how it look like. This is all of the last year winner. You can click on here and look at each of the student. It will take you to each of the students' writing. So we have 28 writing from last year. We have a list of VIP judges and about to do the writing challenge. So with that, 2 minutes over. I'm going to stop sharing
Hold
and
on
we'll
for one
save
second,
for
Kim. We have a
Q
couple of
and A.
questions in the
Yes.
chat.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I've got a question from Becca, and she says she is a middle school counselor. You do not have to be an ELA teacher to do this. We have principals that sponsor students. We have counselors that do it all the time. We have civic and history teachers that do this too. So please feel free. And I'm here to support you. You don't have to be an ELA teacher, and I'm here to support you. And also, Kim, if you could put up that QR code one more time from my presentation, a couple of the teachers didn't grab that, and they would like to be able to grab that real quick. I couldn't break it down. I kept trying to find it over here, and I couldn't break down that apart to
So the
get that
QR
back up on
code
the
to your
screen.
lesson.
Yeah, if you could do
Okay.
that, that would just be so
Yes.
helpful.
Yes. Right here. Give me a second. I need to click a few button and then
There you go. So there's that QR code.
there you go.
There you go.
And I see there's a couple more questions. So
Oh, I think we've got them all.
um
Yep, I think we got them all.
student will student notify if they are finalists there. So both will we inform the parents and we don't communicate directly with student informant and also notify the teacher. So it's both front and communication as a as a finalist or whoever that register as a participant for as a teacher register for that. And then so yeah, I'm scrolling down here questions and you can just open your mic ask questions.
I think I hit them all.
Okay, awesome.
All right, guys, any other questions? Okay, great. Please know I am right here, ready, willing, and able to support you. And let's make some magic with some writing.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.